This old man grabbed his granddaughter's necklace, but her eyes are fixed behind her because a ghost was standing by the wall. At that moment, Lisa broke away from her grandmother's hand. She took a few steps back and bumped into the ghost. She looked at the ghost and then looked back at her grandmother. Lisa basically concluded that her grandmother could also see ghosts, so she took out her grandmother's painting. Looking at the painting in front of her, the grandmother immediately turned her head to the cabinet in the corner. Lisa took out a photo from the cabinet. It was a picture of Grandma and Grandpa when they were young. The ghost they saw was Lisa's grandfather. Lisa finally realized her ability to see ghosts was not a mental illness. It was a special family trait. The next day, Lisa asked her father to send her back to school, and then she found Peter. She told him about her ability to see ghosts. She told him about the ghost she saw at school. At the school were supposedly the same people who died in the shooting a year ago. She asked Peter if he knew the shooter. Peter said he didn't know who did it. Then Lisa had a bold idea. She wanted to visit the killer's house, so they rode their bikes to the killer's house. But it was unoccupied. The windows were boarded up. They pried the boards off, broke the window and jumped in. The house was a mess, except for some old furniture. There were dried blood stains on the floor from the suicide of the killer's father. Then Lisa went upstairs. She picked up a dusty picture frame and Saturday on the bed. But to her surprise, something fell on the floor through a crack in the bed. Lisa picked it up. She also found a diary under the bed. Lisa opened the diary and read the story of the deceased's life. On the other hand, Peter, who was afraid to go upstairs, stayed downstairs alone with a baseball bat. Suddenly he heard something behind him. Nervously, Peter turned around, but there was nothing in front of him. However, he didn't know that the ghost was standing behind him. Meanwhile, Lisa opened something that had fallen out of the bed. It was a photograph, but what she didn't realize was that there was another person in the photo besides the murderer, and that person was the town sheriff's son, Leo. Having discovered the secret, Lisa rushed downstairs, but as soon as she reached the stairway, she stood still while Peter was puzzled. The next moment, a ghost appeared. "Peter," Lisa called out to him. After the injured Peter crawled out from the corner. The scene in front of him also gave him the creeps. The ghost grabbed Lisa's neck and wouldn't let go. Lisa threw away the diary she was holding. Only then did the ghost let go of her hand. Taking this opportunity, they quickly escaped from the place. The next morning, Lisa came to the police station because her mom Franca hadn't come home all night. Suddenly, Lisa found an investigation file on her desk. It was the details of the strange number that had sent her a message. She took a picture of it with her cell phone. Suddenly, Sergeant Paulo appeared at the door. After being told that Franca was not at the station, Lisa left in a hurry. As soon as Lisa had left, Paul entered Franca's office. He was alarmed by the information on his desk. He went to the file room and called his son. "Hey, it's Leon. I told you 1,000 times to pick up the phone. Listen, they know something. You need to watch out for this, Lisa." Meanwhile, Lisa came to Leon and pulled out the photo she found. After seeing the photo, Leon was obviously a bit speechless. While he was embarrassed, Paul called again. Leon took this opportunity to run away, but Lisa sensed something was wrong. She then went to the memorial room. The ghost reappeared in front of her. When Lisa got up from the floor, the nameplate on the table immediately caught her attention. She pulled out her cell phone to find the picture she took from her mother's place. She realized that the strange number belonged to a dead person, and she dialed the number, but the phone rang in the locker room's utility room. Lisa followed the ringing and went to the utility room. Lisa heard a very strange sound, like a clock or something. Suddenly, Lisa tried to pick up her cell phone when a hand dragged her away. Shortly after, Lisa was awakened by the sound of a ringing phone. After waking up, she followed the sound and found a cell phone in a floor drain. Picking up the phone, she saw the truth of what happened that year. The two girls who were victimized a year ago are here, and one of them was Leon's girlfriend. But soon a man arrives and interrupts their rendezvous. This man is the so-called murderer Simon. It turned out that Simon was a homosexual. His same-sex partner was Leon. Simon didn't want to hide anymore, because in his eyes, there was no shame in it. But Leon didn't see it that way. To hide his other side, he rejected Simon. He pushed him to the ground. At that moment, Simon pulled out a gun from behind his back, and Paul suddenly came through the door. He shot him dead. To cover his tracks, he took Simon's gun and shot Leon's girlfriend. However, what he didn't expect was his son's girlfriend's best friend, who was at the door, recorded everything that happened with her cell phone. Just as the girl was running away, she was spotted by Paul. The girl escaped all the way into the bathroom. In the panic, her cell phone fell into the floor drain, but then Paul came after her. He shot the girl in the head. When he was done, he called Lucas, who was in his car. Lucas was already mentally ill. He couldn't control his behavior and never opened the door. Just then, Leon appeared behind Lisa. Lisa turned around, kicked Leon out of the way, and ran out the door, but she didn't realize that she was running into Paul. who had arrived at the scene. Leon grabbed the phone from Lisa and gave it to his father, but Paul took the phone and realized it was dead. He told his son to take the phone and leave, then he pointed the gun at Lisa. At that moment, the ghost appeared next to Lisa. Lisa took this opportunity to run away quickly. When Paul chased him to the utility room, Lisa rushed out and knocked the gun out of his hand with a stick. In the panic, Paul pulled the trigger. The sound of the gunshot attracted the attention of Franco, who had arrived, but Lisa was no match for Paul. Paul knocked her to the ground. He had her in a chokehold. Lisa was about to suffocate. Leon suddenly appeared. He hit Paul on the head with a stick. Then he pulled out Paul's gun and turned it on his father. And then Franco arrived. Leon finally dropped the gun, and the case was solved. When Lisa went back to the utility room to retrieve her cell phone, she saw the 3 young lives again. It was their troubled souls let the girl in front of her vindicate their wrongful deaths. A table was added to the memorial room at the same time, and there was one more victim in the tragic story that was being told. 17-year-old Lisa Minigiselle has recently suffered from panic attacks. Her mother, Franca Marie Leuenberger, moves her to an idyllic town in the Black Forest, hoping it will help her daughter recuperate. As the town celebrates the first anniversary of the high school shooting, disaster strikes and terror sweeps through the town once again. Lisa's mother, Franca, the new police chief, puts herself in great danger with her investigation, and Lisa is haunted by a ghost from the underworld. War Forkton is a nightmarish journey of terror that leads the viewer into an endless abyss of darkness. The director uses classic horror elements in this movie, such as eerie sound effects, realistic nightmare scenes, and tense camera switches, successfully creating a tense and disturbing atmosphere. The whole story is full of unpredictable and frightening twists and turns, thus triggering the audience's curiosity and tension. Every corner may hide a horrible secret, making the movie watching process ready to face sudden scares. The plot of the movie is cleverly designed to put the characters in a scary situation that makes you tense for the safety of the main character. The performances of the actors are also a highlight of the movie. They managed to convey the character's sense of fear and helplessness in the face of a supernatural threat. Such emotional resonance strengthens the strong connection between the viewer and the movie, making the entire horror experience all the more real and profound. Overall, War Forkton is an extremely creative and tense horror choice. Viewers will have a fear-filled time with unpredictable plot developments and realistic performances that are sure to impress. If you seek a thrilling horror ride, this movie is not to be missed.